The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by CayMAS Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
And 100% Math. Invest in your child's academic success. Visit 100%math.com or call 547-9817.
And now, Radio CayMAS presents The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, CayMAS. Welcome to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I'm happy it's a dry day. I'll tell you that much. I'm very happy it's a dry, nice morning so far in CayMAS. Everybody still be safe on the road. On this segment of the Business Buzz, I will be speaking with Dr. Pooja Monteiro. She's a consultant OBGYN at Total Health. Good morning, Dr. Pooja. How are you doing?
Good morning, Kathy. Thank you for having me. I'm doing wonderful.
Okay, excellent. Well, welcome to the Business Buzz. It's good to have you. It's our very first time talking.
Yes.
So I'd like you're an OBGYN.
Yep.
So very important role right here, especially when it comes to kind of women's health. I feel like they didn't really pay attention to us for a little while there. If you could give us a bit of a background, your professional background, credentials, and then we'll get into it.
Okay, so I come from India, from the fast-paced city of Mumbai. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Of course.
I've spent almost my entire life there. Okay. I've done most of my education, not most, almost everything back home. So I've done my post-graduation in OBGYN. Trained there. I had like 12 or 13 years of experience before I moved to CayMAS around 5 years ago. Okay. And it's been over 6 months that I'm with Total Health.
Okay. What brought you to CayMAS?
I'm very happy.
What brought you to CayMAS?
So just this job offer that came up, and as most people on that side of the hemisphere, and I was like, where? What?
Right.
Where's this island? And my husband's a sailor, so luckily he knew where the place was. And I was like, can you show me on the map? We have this pretty world map on our wall, and he's like, no, you're not going to see it here.
Did it have it on that map? Sometimes CayMAS not on all maps.
No, so it wasn't on that one. Yeah. So we had to zoom on Google Maps, and that's when we found it. Okay. I was like, this place is too tiny compared to where I am from in Mumbai. But he was like, no, it's beautiful. We should go, and he's been here obviously. He was like, we should go, and yeah, the rest is history. We're loving it.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's great to hear.
Yeah, so far I can safely say that this is home.
Okay, excellent.
For now at least.
Yeah, excellent. Wonderful. I have to go to Mumbai one day. So,
you should.
I would say that's definitely a city in India that I want to check out.
It's New York City times 100 in terms of being fast-paced.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. So very different culture, pace of life coming here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So coming here is when I started sleeping at 7 or 8 in the evening because I have young kids.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was a little bit of a culture shock.
Right.
And, brakes on the car situation.
Right.
But now when I go back home, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't deal with all of the madness and the buzz.
So it's so interesting how you're kind of born into something, and that's what you're used to. And then when it's different, when you go to a different culture, different country, and how things are, it really changes your perspective a lot of the time.
And you adapt.
So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you either adapt or you don't survive, right?
True.
That's just period. Let's talk a little bit about Total Health. Where are you guys located? What services do you offer there?
So Total Health is at Grand Pavilion on West Bay Road. In short, it's a one-stop shop for all of your solutions. We have a fantastic GP, a splendid ophthalmologist. We have a pediatrician. There's me. We have an awesome dentist. We have an orthopedician on board. And soon to come in the days, I don't think I should be revealing much, but there's a lot more that's coming up, which you guys need to be tuned in for. So trust me, it's a one-stop shop. So you can come in, you can get your health checks, you can get preventive screens, you can get diagnostic tests, and all in a matter of hours. So it's not like you have to wait for days and stuff.
Right. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah. And nobody has the time right now. Yeah.
No, absolutely. You're right. And also, if you have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks for results to come in, and that does a whole other thing to your health.
And we're very strategically located on the 7-mile stretch. So, it's convenient for most people to come from work, just drop in their lunch hour or their break time. So nobody has to take a sick day from work, or nobody has to miss work. So
right.
It's perfect.
Now, I'm curious because when I moved here 18 years ago, I think there was one OBGYN that was a female.
Okay.
And that I was super paranoid about that because as a woman,
Yeah.
For me, that's more of a sensitive part of the
Of
body.
course.
And I'd prefer if I had a woman doctor to deal or discuss with those things. A woman's going to know what I'm going through more so than, in my opinion,
Absolutely.
than a male doctor.
That's the perspective almost worldwide, I would say that. But I'm not going to take away from the male doctors because the male OBGYNs are supposed to be the most gentle because, they know the stigma that is attached surrounding them as well. So they go out of their way to be extra gentle and extra nice.
Oh, that's so
Most
interesting.
of the male OBGYNs I know are splendid, including the ones on island. Yeah.
Yes. I've had as well.
Yeah, so we're not going to take away from the
No,
many.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it's interesting to me because there was, I think at that time, only one woman. How did you get into that profession? Like, what made you decide, okay, this is what I'm going to study?
So funny story was I actually got into medicine because I wanted to do orthopedics. I wanted to be a
Okay.
bone doctor because I had broken far too many bones as a child and my orthopedician was fantastic.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah, so
Me too.
so that's what got me into medicine. But then we have our rotations in different departments. And my first rotation in OBGYN is when I saw a baby being born and delivered and I was converted. That was it.
Oh, wow.
So orthopedics took a backseat and all I wanted to do from then was OBGYN.
Okay.
Yeah. So after that day, the only focus in life was to be an OBGYN. And here I am, 14 years down the line.
Okay, all right. That's a good story, actually. I would say breaking bones and having to deal with hospitals a lot didn't make me want to be a doctor at all, but that was more my adult life. So, I think I was already on my career path at that point. So to go a little bit more into women's health and everything. Now, I remember being young, and I think because my mom was a nurse, so it was always kind of ingrained to me about, your regular checkups
Yep.
as a woman. So I would always be involved. Make sure that I'm getting, my pap smears. I think I started pretty young. I want to say like 16 or 17 at that, which might have been a little early. I can't remember.
Pretty early, but
I was
back
very
in the
regular
day,
with it.
there were no set guidelines, or there were guidelines in place, but there were not guidelines that people, as my fellow doctors and me would follow, and we would be like, okay, you're sexually active, come and let's do a pap smear. Yeah. So things have
But
changed.
you don't have to be sexually active.
You do.
To get a pap smear?
You do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's what. So things, this has never changed. So
Okay.
you only need a pap smear if you are sexually active. Things have become much better. So I'm
interesting.
speaking for women worldwide. I don't speak as a doctor. I'm speaking as a woman right now. Everyone knows how uncomfortable it is to have a pap smear. So the good thing is now with pap smears, you don't need to do it you never needed to do it every year. Let's put that out there as well.
Really?
There are lots of women who are still doing it every year. There's unfortunately a lot of doctors who are asking women to do it every year as well. They will not give you refills for birth control or for hormone replacement if you don't do your yearly pap smears, which I'm sorry, is absolutely not recommended or needed. It's a waste of your good insurance money, which you could have used for something else. And you're putting yourself through that discomfort and pain for no rhyme or reason. So the current recommendations stand at you need to do a pap smear once every 3 years if you're doing a plain pap smear. If you're doing a pap with an HPV test, which is what most of the OBGYNs on island will do at this point of time, you're good for 5 years if both of these parts are good. You start pap smears at the age of 25 or whenever you get sexually active, whichever is later. So which
Okay.
means if you're sexually active at 16, you still get your first pap at 25.
Okay.
If you're sexually active, if you start your sexual life at the age of 30,
Really?
30 is when you will start getting a pap smear. And the reason being is the only way that you would end up getting, so we know a pap smear is for cervical cancer, and cervical cancer is caused by a virus called HPV or human papilloma virus.
Right, but I thought there was so many more other reasons for a woman to get a pap smear, not just
Absolutely not.
not just
That's
because you're
the-
sexually active.
No, that's the only reason to get a pap smear. The pap smear does give me a little more information in terms of if you have a yeast infection, if you have a bacterial vaginosis, but that I have a lot more tests to do rather than do a pap smear.
Okay.
For that. The primary sole aim is to pick up precancerous lesions of the cervix, as we
Right.
call it, so that we can prevent future cervical cancer.
Right.
So like I was saying, cervical cancer is caused by a virus that's called human papilloma virus, or the HPV as it's
Right, right.
popularly known. The only way to get an HPV infection is through sex or sexual genital skin-to-skin contact,
Right,
either
right.
of the two. So if you're not sexually active, you're not going to contract an HPV infection, and you're never going to have cervical cancer. So let's put it that way. From the time
But
someone...
you can get HPV in your throat,
Again,
correct?
oral cancer.
Okay.
I mean, oral intercourse is when that would come into play.
So it can't be any other.
So there
what
are
about
other
kissing
cancers
or something
that
like
can be caused by HPV. So in women, it has everything down there: cervical, vaginal, vulval, anal cancers, oral cancers if you practice oral sex. And for men, you have anal, penile, and oral cancers again. Apart from cancers, it also causes a sexually transmitted infection, STD as we call it, in the form of warts. So genital warts, or if you have warts around it's very uncommon to have warts around your mouth or in your oral cavity, but genital warts are the most common. Teeny tiny, they look like small, how do you explain it, like small cauliflower like thingies. I know I ruined cauliflower for lots of people right now, but yeah, that's what it looks like. Anything. So I always tell women, if there's anything which did not belong there, or say you had a wart all your life, it's never grown, like a skin tag, I wouldn't be bothered about that. But something new that crops up which wasn't there, no matter whether it's causing pain, whether it's causing trouble
in that area.
Yes,
Okay.
always come and have it checked out, just to be certain that it's there's nothing funky going on.
Right.
Because an STD, unlike what most people believe, is not something which you contract with a recent sexual encounter. It could have been with a sexual encounter which was years ago as well. Namely the herpes and HPV. These are the two most notorious viruses known to show themselves years after contracting it. So
Really?
yeah, that's why we recommend women to have a sexual panel, STI panel once every year as well, just to see how things are going.
Right.
You'll be alarmed at the amount of herpes that's out there in the community, and unfortunately and sadly women don't even know.
Yeah. It is really sad, actually. It is really sad. And because I understand HPV can kind of lie dormant, as you just said as well, right?
Yeah.
And
so the
there's
good
like
thing
100
is when
different
it's
strains, or
at
over 100 strains.
At least 200 types. So like you
200,
and I,
it's grown.
yeah. So like you and I have our names, they have numbers. The ones that cause cancer are one set. The ones that cause sexually transmitted infections are the other set. So they don't kind of cross-react. So they have their own jobs. They're quite self-sufficient that way. So they will not cross paths.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where the vaccination comes into play. Have you heard about the HPV vaccine?
Absolutely. But then, from being younger as well, I've heard to get it from maybe you're 18 or I guess you're 9 years old.
9. You started at the age of 9.
Look at my timelines here. Wow, 9. But so to get the HPV vaccine suggested to start at 9, but you're maybe not even sexually active until later.
That's exactly why we want you to take it at 9, because what any vaccine does is it gives you protection to fight against that particular bacteria or virus or protozoa. So same way, because we know that HPV comes after sex, we give it to you when we know that you've surely not had sex. So which means your fighters are ready for when the HPV infection comes in. So that's why we like to vaccinate them early.
What if you've had HPV? Can you still get the vaccine?
That's absolutely fine. So that's another good question. So
does it matter any of the strains that you've had?
It doesn't matter. So it's not going to give you protection against that strain, but it's going to give you cross protection against multiple other strains. So the current vaccine and the only vaccine that you should be accepting, that's the Gardasil 9. The number 9 denotes that it gives you protection against 9 viruses. Those 9 will then give you cross protection against 60 to 70 of those 100 to 100 viruses that are available out there. So that's why it's very important that you take this particular vaccine. And if I'm not wrong, that's the vaccine that is available here in Cayman. I don't think there's any other vaccine that people are giving. If there's somebody who still has a Gardasil 4, they shouldn't be using that vaccine anymore. You shouldn't accept Gardasil 4 or Cervarix. Gardasil 9 is the only vaccine that you should accept. You can always come into Total Health. We have the vaccines available there. The dosing schedule is less than 14. It's a single dose, which has changed very recently.
Oh, yeah. I heard because it used to be more than
It used to be 2 doses, but now it's a single dose. And more than 14 or 15 and above is 3 doses. So the first dose, if it were to be done today, the second dose would be 2 months from now, and the third dose would be 6 months from now.
So it's one dose?
One
nowadays?
dose for less than 14 years of age.
Okay.
15 and above is 3 doses. And it's up to the age of 45 for women and 26 in men. Beyond 26, it depends on the purview of the physician who's seeing
Why does
the
it
man.
stop at 45 for women?
So because the age for cervical cancer in women, there's one peak at 39 to 40, and then the second peak which happens around 50 to 55. So beyond that, it's very unlikely that you will actually develop a fresh case of cervical cancer.
Okay.
So that's how it works.
Interesting. We got to go to a commercial break, but we're going to come back and continue our discussion.
Sure.
All right.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
In 1875, the Jamaican government passed the Wrecking and Salvage Law, directed to protecting the interests of ship owners and insurers and giving adequate redress to persons injured by the wreck. The law passed as a direct result of the wreck of 1874 of the British Iphigenia over the Bordentown Reef, in which residents pillaged the wreck despite no significant damage to the ship. Following an inquiry by the HMS Eclipse 8 days later, local magistrate William B. Webster was castigated and deemed unfit for office after the inquiry determined that he had failed to assist the protection of property and desired to wreck the ship.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of CayMAS Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are CayMAS Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at CayMAS Insurance Center.
Call today.
Investing in our children's academic success and future career is a no-brainer. Isn't it time we stop with the excuses? With 100% math, you can take charge now. There's no reason for your children to fall behind in math again. Since 2011, 100% Math has prepared students for exams in IB, HL, SL Math, and CSEC and enrichment programs for gifted students. Visit 100%math.com or call or WhatsApp 547-9817. That's 547-9817. No more excuses. Set your child up for success today with 100% Math.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
The Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office remind all students traveling to and from school overseas to ensure their passports are valid for both travel and entry into their destination country. Passports should be renewed at least 10 weeks before departure, and any necessary student visas must be obtained. For passport services, contact the Passport and Corporate Services Office at 649-7678. For Ministry of Education scholarship inquiries, contact scholarships@gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office.
The Water Authority of Cayman wishes to advise its customers of a planned service interruption and traffic disruption on Edward Street and 4th Street on Sunday, 23rd of June, 2024. To facilitate infrastructure maintenance as part of the Georgetown Revitalization Initiative. There will be road closures at the intersection of Edward Street and 4th Street between the hours of 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Traffic diversions will be in place, and motorists are encouraged to drive with caution when in the area. Customers on the following roads will experience temporary service interruption between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on 4th Street and Edward Street between 4th Street and Dr. Roy's Drive. Customers on the following roads may experience temporary service interruption between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. if it becomes necessary to expand the scope of works. On Albert Panton Street, Mary Street, and North Church Street between 4th Street and Mary Street. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it upgrades the water infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I am sitting here with Dr. Pooja. She is a consultant OBGYN at Total Health in Grand Pavilion. We were just talking about HPV, and she really schooled me on stuff. So I guess my information is from like 20 years ago, or the things that I remember are from a long time ago. I got a couple more questions left on HPV.
Absolutely. Shoot
now,
them on to
I
me.
understand it's a super common infection to get.
Yes.
Right? And some people kind of act like, oh, it's common, it's all right, don't even worry about it, don't think about it. But there's no cure for HPV.
Yep.
Correct?
There's no cure for HPV. Once it's in your system, sometimes it can just lie dormant and not cause any trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Most often your body's immunity is good to fight it off.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the vaccine comes into play. So you will still end up getting the HPV infection, but your body will be prepared to just clear it out of your system almost instantaneously.
Okay, nice.
If you do end up with an HPV infection.
So can it ever leave you? Because I've also heard that it can stay. You might have it for a couple of years, and then your body will build up some defense, and it'll be clear, like it won't be detected.
It'll be clear. So when you test positive for HPV one year and then you test negative for HPV the next year, it's either that your system has cleared it or your system has fought it enough to make it just lie dormant in your body without causing any trouble.
Interesting.
So a dormant virus is not a troublesome virus. It's when it shows up is when it starts creating trouble.
Okay, and that's when you got to be worried.
That's when we have to be a little more vigilant. Let's say that.
Right.
Not worried.
Now, okay, a little bit more vigilant. Thank you for correcting me. Now, I thought pap smears were every year until you hit a certain age, that it was like every 5 years or something like that. But you've just told me every 3 years or so women should go in for a pap smear, right?
Yeah.
What are we really looking for then in pap smears? Because I thought it was a whole range of different things you might be concerned with when it comes to
So
your
the pap
health.
smear is literally only looking for precancerous lesions of the cervix. So once, say I contract an HPV infection at this point of time, and it decides that yes, it wants to wreak havoc in my life, it's going to start causing changes in the cells of the cervix, and those changes then eventually will turn into cervical cancer. But from the time I contract the HPV virus to the time I end up with cervical cancer is a good 7 to 10 years. So it has to cause a lot of changes in the cells till it actually causes full-blown cervical cancer. And that's what the pap smear tries to pick up, are those changes that it causes in the cells, so that we can pick them up, see them, treat them, and prevent future cervical cancer. This is one of the very few cancers that we have which is almost 100% preventable, treatable if caught early. WHO currently has a mission, and we're all OBGYNs worldwide, if they're not already, they should be on a mission to eradicate eradicate is a big word, but eradicate and eliminate cervical cancer from the face of the earth. 2030 is our year.
Wow, it can be done.
It can be done.
It
If every
absolutely can be
single
done.
person gets vaccinated, if every parent steps up and allows schools to vaccinate their kids or the government to vaccinate their kids, it's free for the school kids here. Or it should be. I assume it is. At least for the public schools, it is.
Wow.
Yeah. It was for a few years. I know that they're going to be rolling it back into the public schools. Private schools, I'm not sure. For the private schools, we're always here. Even for adults, young adults, you should come in and get vaccinated. You should do your pap smears as recommended. If you're doing everything right, there's no real reason to have cervical cancer.
Right. And I understand that breast cancer is one of the number one killers in women when it comes to cancer.
Yes.
And then cervical cancer is right behind that.
So
if it's
cervical
preventable,
cancer is the fourth highest cancer in women. But women's specific cancer, it's the second highest. So the second is colon cancer, lung cancer. They're not specific to women. So specific cancers are breast and cervical cancer.
Wow.
And cervical cancer, if it's caught super early or in the precancerous stages, are completely treatable.
Okay.
Once it crosses a certain stage, it's not one good cancer to have. I mean, no cancer is good, but it's one of those not so good cancers. There's too much of chemo, radiation, and you have to live with it all your life. You're never going to be declared cancer free.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you have to keep coming in for follow-ups for at least 20, 30 years.
So if it's preventable, really consider that a vaccine. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a simple fix. Just get a silly little jab and you're done.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to what happens when you get an abnormal pap smear.
Yeah, so this is not what too many people know or talk about. So if we have an abnormal pap smear, and if I'm calling someone and saying, hey, your pap is abnormal, the first thing is panic, because they end up thinking I have cervical cancer or my life is over as we know it. So again, I want to put it out there that having an abnormal pap smear means that there are some changes in the cells of the cervix, which may or may not lead to cervical cancer, probably 10 years down the line. It does not mean that you have cancer or you are definitely going to get cancer. So most of these changes are subtle and not that severe, which means even if I were to leave it and not do anything and probably come back and test you in a matter of 1 or 2 years, it might downgrade itself or it might completely disappear thanks to your body's immunity.
Okay.
So with a pap smear is a screening test. Screening, which means we look at the entire population. All women have to have a pap smear, all sexually active women beyond the age of 25. Now, say we have 100 women who end up doing a pap smear, we'll have around 40 to 60 of those who will end up being positive on a pap smear, which means they will have an abnormal pap smear. Because a pap smear has a very, very high or let's say a low threshold for abnormal cells. So even if it's seeing a few, they will say, yes, it's abnormal, because we want to pick up as many so that we don't miss out anyone.
You want to be careful, yeah.
Yes. And then the next step would be a test called a colposcopy. So a colposcopy is simply where we're looking at the cervix under magnification. We're applying certain dyes on the cervix, and if there are any abnormal appearing areas is where we're taking biopsies from. Even if there are no abnormal areas, we will still take biopsies and send them out for testing. Now that's a diagnostic test. So when we do a PAP, we're taking a general brushing of the entire cervix. It doesn't mean that if there are abnormal cells, they're from all over. We have to figure out which area it is. That's where the colposcopy helps us. And then we take what we call guided biopsies. And based on the biopsy results, we either do nothing. We say just come back in a year's time for a follow-up, or we may need to do treatments in terms of something known as a LEAP, a cone biopsy, or what we have now is a thermocoagulation. So this is the steps that happen. So every person that has an abnormal pap smear, again, does not end up doing a colposcopy. It also is dependent on your HPV status. So I would be most worried only about the people who have an abnormal pap smear and who test positive for HPV. They automatically go on to the next step, that's the colposcopy.
Okay.
Women who have an abnormal pap smear and a normal HPV test, you just come back in a year's time to repeat both these tests. Of course, depending on the type of abnormality. There are a couple where we would directly move on to a colposcopy. So the treatments that I was telling you, fairly simple. What we have is called the thermocoagulation. No anesthesia, 25 seconds, no pain, and you're done.
Okay.
Versus the LEAP and the cone biopsy, which requires anesthesia, which you can expect a lot of bleeding, a lot of pain. Eventually, it will need you to be, most people will prefer to do it under general anesthesia. And it is a much more invasive procedure. We are literally slicing off a part of the cervix, which is required most times as well.
What's going to make you decide which procedure
Which
you're gonna go
modality
with?
to choose.
Yeah.
So based on what we're seeing on the pap smear, based on what we're seeing as the results of the colposcopy, and based on which part of the cervix looks abnormal. So if it's from the cells that are on the inside of the cervix, then I don't use the thermocoagulation. That's where the LEAP would come into play, or the cone biopsy would come into play. But if you have something which is on the surface and something which is very reachable, you would just do a thermocoagulation. It's literally a 25-second procedure. We just put in the gun. It's cold heat, if that makes any sense. So it heats up the cervix to a temperature of 100 degrees. So you don't feel any pain. You may feel a little tingly, and you might have like a slight uterine cramp, but once we're done, we're done.
Okay.
So it's a set of, so I have to literally wait for 20 seconds, 5 seconds for each of my lights to blink, and that's it. We're done.
Okay.
And then you just come back in 6 weeks. We look at your cervix and call it a day. And then you come back in a year's time for us to repeat a pap smear.
Are these new? Because I feel like I haven't heard of these procedures before.
It is fairly new. We had something similar called the cryotherapy, where it would be cold, so not cold heat. So there we would burn the cervix with nitrous oxide. So the setup required was much more. You would need to have nitrous oxide cylinders, you need to have a suction machine, you have a lot of discharge post procedure, because it forms ice crystals within the cells of the cervix, and when the cells die is when those crystals melt off. So you're going to have a lot of discharge and be very uncomfortable for 6 weeks, as opposed to this, which is just heat. So you still will have some discharge, but nothing compared to the cryotherapy.
This is so interesting. This has been the fastest half hour of my entire life. I feel like I have so many more questions to ask you. We got to get you on, I'm going to say soon again, because there's a lot to cover here.
Yes.
I do have a question. Don't kill me, Susan, because I know it's the 8 a.m. news time. But I do have one more question. I'm not sure you explained it. I know that in a colonoscopy, I've had one recently, and when they go in, they look, and if they see any polyps, they can cut it out right then and there, and then still send it off for a biopsy.
Yes.
Can you do the same with the... What was the word?
The colposcopy.
Colposcopy.
Yes. So if we see anything, we take it out. So we're only looking at the outside of the cervix. We're not putting a camera into the uterus. That would be called a hysteroscopy. Okay. Depending on the type of pap, we sometimes do take a biopsy from within the womb as well.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. Thank you so much
for
joining us. That was great information. Again, the fastest half hour of my life. Total Health.
So
let us know your Grand Pavilion. I know that much.
Yeah. So we're at Grand Pavilion on West Bay Road. The number to call, very easy, 333-2222. That's 333-2222. And the email is info@totalhealth.ky. And I'll see you soon.
Yes, I hope so, because new procedures, very important for women, women's health.
New, safer, faster, less painful, less traumatic procedures.
Boy, we love that, don't we?
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Dr. Pooja, for joining us.
You're
and hopefully
welcome,
we'll have you on
Kathy.
soon again.
Yes.
All right.
Have a good day.
Studio time now by Foster's is 3 minutes past 8.
Whole grain crackers, nut butter on deck, canned and dried fruit, gotta keep that energy in check. Next on the list, you gotta have water. Gallon a day for our son and daughter.
What are you up to?
Just repeating my emergency checklist for hurricane season so I don't forget.
You could just read the Live Well blogs by Foster's and CG Brick K online at livewell.fosters.ky. The latest blog even outlines what you need to stay safe for hurricane season.
Live well, huh? Okay, I'll check, but only if you drop the next verse.
How about with Foster Supplies, you can handle the swells. Stay safe, stay ready, and always live well.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Caymanbrack and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller.
We're waiting for decision makers in relation to the east-west arterial
Department of Environment Director Gina Ebanks-Petrie told the National Conservation Council on Wednesday the Infrastructure Ministry has presented Cabinet with its, quote, preferred alternative routes for consideration. The NCC had previously deemed that the planned 10-mile extension of the road would require an environmental impact assessment because of potential detrimental effects, which led to the appointment of an environmental assessment board.
The EAB provided our input to the selection process, obviously based on the current results from the EIA some time ago, but we are not aware of exactly where the Cabinet's deliberations are in relation to the selection of the preferred alternative.
In the June 5th Central Planning Authority agenda, the National Roads Authority revealed it had 3 options under consideration for the planned road extension into the eastern districts. Once Cabinet picks the preferred alternative, the NRA's EIA consultants will then do a more detailed environmental assessment on the exact route.
Following that, we will then be in a position to assemble the technical chapters of the environmental impact assessment, which have already been reviewed by the EAB in relation to the 3 alternatives being assessed to determine the preferred alternative.
You can watch Wednesday's full NCC meeting on the DOE's YouTube channel. The Public Accounts Committee is heading back to Parliament today to consider a recent Auditor General's report on Caymanian employment. Radio Cayman's Dion Anglin has more.
MPs sitting on the PAC will review the report, Improving Employment Prospects for Caymanians, May 2024. The Chief Officer for the Ministry of Border Control, Labour and Culture, the Director of Workforce Opportunities and Residency Cayman, and the Acting Chief Officer for the Ministry of Education are the witnesses scheduled to appear before the PAC on the day. The report, available online at auditorgeneral.gov.ky, makes 10 recommendations primarily to WORC and the Ministry of Education. In its upcoming hearing, PAC members will question the 3 witnesses on the contents of the report and follow up with its own written response. The committee may make additional recommendations to government as well. Reporting for Radio Cayman News, I'm Dion Anglin.
You can watch the proceedings live at the House of Parliament in Georgetown, or you can always listen on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM. And in other news, the official mourning period for the country's first deputy governor starts today with a flag-lowering ceremony and a minute of silence at the Government Administration Building. CIGTV's Simon Boxall reports.
Mr. Donovan Winton Ferguson Ebanks, MBE, JP, passed away peacefully on Sunday, June 2nd, 2024. The official ceremonial events that will be held in his honour include lying in state at the House of Parliament on Friday, 21st of June, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. A memorial service will be held at the Clifton Hunter High School auditorium on Saturday, 22nd of June at 3 p.m. This week, condolence books will be placed at the Government Administration Building, the House of Parliament, the District Administration Building in Cayman Brac, and in the North Side Post Office, as well as virtually on the boddenfuneralservices.com website. Mr. Ebanks had an esteemed public service career spanning several decades, marked by dedicated service and significant contributions to governance and the development of the Cayman Islands.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Danielle Yawowiecka. Police in Kenya have fired tear gas at large crowds protesting against proposed tax rises. Demonstrations have been held in Nairobi and Mombasa. Kenya's parliament is expected to vote on the bill later today. Russia and Vietnam have announced they will build closer ties during a state visit by President Putin to Hanoi. Moscow is hoping the trip will highlight Russia's diplomatic influence in the region. South Korea has said it may start supplying weapons directly to Ukraine, and it will reconsider its long-standing policy not to arm countries at war. Washington and Kyiv have long been encouraging Seoul to take the step. Scientists have found that global warming has made the extreme temperatures recently recorded in the Northern Hemisphere 35 times more likely. The United States, Central America and Europe are experiencing record-breaking heat. BBC World News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Town, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Town. Live happy, live healthy with Valley Med Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio CayMAN with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio CayMAN on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio CayMAN app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio CayMAN, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Just in time for summer, it's the sizzling hot appliance sale at Brand Source Home Gallery. Save 25% off all appliances now until the end of June. That's 25% off on all appliances at Brand Source. Don't miss this opportunity to replace aging appliances and get 1 year plus warranty on new appliances. The sizzling hot appliance sale now until the end of June at Brand Source, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for details.
Attention parents and guardians. Registration for Cayman Islands government schools for the 2024 to 2025 academic year closes on June 30th. By law, all children turning 5 by August 31st must be enrolled in an approved government, private, or homeschooling program. Don't miss out. Visit schools.edu.ky/registration to learn more and secure a spot for your child today. This message is brought to you from the Department of Education Services.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by CG Brit K, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 85 degrees. Relative humidity is 79%. The barometric pressure is 29.89 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 9 knots. Overnight low temperature was 80 degrees. Tropical storm Alberto in the southwest Gulf of Mexico continues to dominate the wind flow across the western Caribbean and will support moderate to fresh winds with moderate to rough seas, along with an increased chance of cloudiness and showers expected from this evening, associated with the passage of a tropical wave across the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers mainly south of Grand Cayman, which are moving towards the west-northwest. The National Hurricane Center is issuing advisories on Tropical Storm Alberto. The system poses no threat to the Cayman Islands. If you need additional information, visit www.nhc.noaa.gov. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers and thunder, and showers will be locally heavy at times, possible flooding of low-lying areas expected. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s. Winds will be east to southeast, 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts in and around heavy showers. And seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet, and small craft should exercise caution over the open waters for today and tonight as well. Forecast for tonight calling for cloudy to overcast skies with an 80% chance of showers and thunder, and showers will be locally heavy at times and possible flooding of low-lying areas as well. Temperatures falling to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts in and around heavy showers, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Today's high tide, we're presently at a high tide at the moment. Low tide will be this afternoon at 2:32 and a high tide again tonight at 9:42. The sun will set this evening at 4 minutes after 7 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:49. And the outlook is calling for a decrease in cloudiness and showers along with moderate winds and seas expected from Saturday morning as a tropical wave moves across the western Caribbean. Higher than normal tides are expected, leading to possible saltwater intrusion in areas that have historically been impacted by king tides. The higher tides and rainfall associated with a tropical wave will pose a risk of flooding across the Cayman Islands from tomorrow evening through Saturday morning. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
I was undercover and had just recovered the stolen artwork, but...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance?
Well, long story long. I found the art thief in France, but ended up becoming somewhat of a local celebrity. So I had to stick around for a while. But I was able to handle all my insurance needs with CG's online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG Brit K. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Brit K, where people come first.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at this time at traffic. Coming from the east, traffic is steady some sections, heavy in other sections on Shamrock Road. Moving steadily as you begin to approach the Linford Pearson Highway. Further down, a little busier and heavy traffic coming off of Crew Road heading to Georgetown and off of Bobby Thompson Way. Steady traffic on Huldah Avenue. Esther Tibbetts Highway traffic is moving on moderately in both directions. On the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions as well. Coming from the West Bay four-way stop, moving on pretty good. Into Georgetown and Shedmore looking good as well. Now, if you've seen accidents or incidents, please give us a call here at Radio Cayman 949-6990. Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue flowing moderately as well. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Your heart is a muscle, and exercise strengthens it. A strong heart pumps blood more efficiently, delivering oxygen and nutrients throughout your body. Exercise also lowers your risk of developing plaque in your arteries, which can clog them and reduce blood flow to your heart. High blood pressure, angina, and heart disease are just some factors that can affect your heart health, and diagnosing these issues can be complex. It's crucial to see a physician for accurate diagnosis and professional treatment to ensure your heart remains healthy.
Your health tip was brought to you by Total Health, comprehensive preventative health care in the Cayman Islands.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
If you're a parent, you know that providing your child with a quality early childhood education can be expensive. However, the Ministry of Education offers financial assistance through its Early Childhood Assistance Program to help qualifying Caymanian families cover the costs at registered early childhood settings. Visit our online application portal at moeapplications.gov.ky to learn more and get started. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller. And on this segment of the Business Buzz, I am talking Carnival CayMAS with Director Brent McLean. Good morning, Brent.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I am doing okay. Good morning, Cayman. I hope everybody's doing well.
I think so. No rain today, so we're a little bit ease going into work, no problem.
That's a plus.
School's coming out.
Agree.
People are a little bit more relaxed.
Yes,
that kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely.
And we have some really big things to look forward to, mostly next weekend, basically, right?
Yeah.
What's going on, Brent?
I can't believe it's been a whole year. It's a whole year, and Carnival is back. CayMAS is back, and we're growing bigger, better. I don't even know. It's a week to wait, so I'm not even sure how I'm breathing right now. But that's how it goes.
That's usually how it is, right?
That's how it goes every single year. It's push till the end. Yeah.
It was good that we got you in this week, because next week I was like, I don't think he's going to be able to make next week.
No,
sure.
I don't think you would get me next week either. I mean, the truth about it is even hard to get it also too, because I might be messing up with your schedule the way that you want to talk, but
no, don't worry about that. Don't worry.
But
we'll go with the flow.
We'll go with the flow. But we do have this weekend a new addition to the CayMAS calendar, so that's why it's today and tomorrow. Is quite a lot going on, because we have the Junior Carnival.
Which is the very first time CayMAS is doing Junior
Carnival.
Very
first time this Saturday at the Camana Bay. That's where it's going to be, 4:00 in the afternoon.
Congratulations!
It's absolutely wonderful, because that's one of those things that from time we started in 2017, we always wanted to have what we call a complete carnival. You can't be complete if you don't have some kind of junior carnival. So we would consider ourselves now complete. I think for like the last 2-3 years we wanted to do that also, but it's a monumental task, just like how the other carnival is. Yeah. In fact, it might even be a greater task than the other carnival, because we're dealing with kids. And you have to find an environment for them, a safe space for them. You have to think about them differently. You can throw the adults on the road and just leave them be, and the sun and all of that kind of stuff. I've been about it with that, but the kids is
I think we have worse behavior. So you kind of got to worry about the adults there a little bit.
but the kids, it's a different environment that you have to think about. So you have to think about how you're going to do that, how you're going to make it safe for them, how you're going to keep them enthused about what you're doing. So we're finally there.
Okay.
Finally there.
All right.
It's great. Right.
So Junior Carnival is this Saturday.
Saturday.
At Camana Bay.
22nd.
Okay.
Camana Bay, 4 p.m. It's in Camana Bay, so we're using the streets of Camana Bay, and that's the same thing what we were just talking about, having a controlled environment rather than putting them on the streets where we have to deal with children and cars and locking off the road and that kind of stuff. We're on the streets of Camana Bay, so it's a safe, controlled environment. And once it's done, they'll have their little aftermath, I guess you want to call it, on the crescent. So we'll make sure to turn off all the water, and there'll be a stage, and they'll get to cross the stage like how you normally, like how you would normally do. DJs will be there. Some of the Soca Monarch contestants will come out and sing, and we'll have kids-friendly stuff for them there. So that's what we're looking forward to. So first year, how will it turn out? Not sure, but we're excited about it. No?
Well, you have to have some sense of how it's going to turn out right now. Do you? Because I know Badabanu has kind of a pro. They've been doing it forever, right?
Right. Yes.
So they have a certain kind of strategy when they get different schools involved, and the schools kind of go against each other. So how has CayMAS approached it? Is it like kind of school involvement, or is it just they can individually sign up? Is there bands for them to join?
It's two ways. We do have school involvement, but we also have individual involvement, because one of the things that we wanted to do was not so much that it's just a school, meaning that one school is here, another school is here, and another school is here, that you don't have those kind of interactions. And I say that because I grew up as a kid in East End. And I was privileged. Well, I was one of those, maybe privileged enough to go to school in town. So therefore, I got an interaction back then with all the other people from all of the districts. Generally, most people back then also too, you got an interaction into high school. When you got to high school, it was only one high school at that time. So when you got to that high school, then you had to deal with people from West Bay, Bordentown, Northside, Georgetown, and learning different personalities because you came from East End.
Mhm.
So it's the same.
Y'all were cooler, right?
Right. So now, well, I don't know if we're cooler, but but I have lifelong friends that I received from Georgetown, West Bay, all over the place, simply because of that interaction. Now the way that it is you have Clifton Hunter up here. So Clifton Hunter is Clifton Hunter, John Gray is John Gray, and they kind of stay this way. So you don't really have that cross interaction as much as we used to have back when we grew up. So we, from a junior carnival standpoint, we would love to have those kind of cross interactions with different. So therefore, what we do have some schools, but we also have some groups that are called the CayMAS Mass Group. So there's kids from different people from different areas in that group, because you might not, we don't really have a Catholic school this year, but some people from Catholic might want to come and be part of that, part of the parade, our junior parade, so they can come in the CayMAS group.
Okay,
So
I like that.
So you'll have people from Catholic, you'll have people from Eastern, some people from Northside, all in that one same group. Red Bay is strong this year, so they got a big group. So Red Bay will be here, they'll have their group, but they also they'll also have some people that if a child from Red Bay have a friend that's not going to Red Bay and wants to be in the Red Bay group, absolutely no problem. So they could go in the Red Bay group. So we had an online registration. Some of the schools were handling their group in bulk, but you could also go to our website and just register and look at the costume and register and say, okay, I'm going to be in the Red Bay group, or I'm going to be in the CayMAS group, or I'm going to be in the Johnny Come group, or however group you want. So they could do that.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, so that's how we wanted to do it. Obviously,
it's a lot more integration.
It's a lot more integration.
Which is a lot of what Carnival is about.
Which is a lot of what Carnival is about. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that doing it school by school and school by school is wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we just have a slightly different approach.
Right.
And we hope that kids will start to feel that integration of being with my friend from West Bay or being with my friend from Georgetown, because they and a lot of times too, they might not necessarily even be friends, they might be family too. My family down in West Bay, I could go in a group with them, because if you think about CayMAS, the adult CayMAS, it's always been about a melting pot of I can play mass with this one and I can play mass with that one, right? So
and you're mostly going to go where your friends are going,
and mostly you're going to go where your friends are going and stuff,
that kind of thing.
But one of the other reasons for Junior Carnival more than anything is CayMAS have always had a long-term vision of being able to eventually one of these days run your own carnival without a lot of outside help, because carnivals in Cayman have a lot of outside help. I mean, when I say outside help, there's a lot of outside designers that will design for you, and then we get people to come in and build the costumes and all the feathers and all that stuff. But at some point, we got to start to take some steps down the road that we can do that ourselves. To do that, you got to get the kids excited, because us old people, you can't change us,
I thought some of the like in Junior Badabanu, for example, I thought it was those individual schools that were designing their own costumes. Maybe you can't speak on that part because you're with CayMAS.
Yeah,
but I really thought it was that way.
I put it this way.
But what you're trying to do is encourage more of that.
Put it this way. I don't believe so, but I'm not going to speak on that.
You might be wrong.
I'm not going to speak on behalf of them. I just have a belief, you know,
Right.
so I'll leave that alone.
But the direction that you guys are going or trying to go into with your junior carnival is to have
we want
the kids to be involved in the designs of their costumes.
the kids to be
their
involved in
bands.
the designs of the costume. I can tell you that the costumes that we have this year, for the first year, we're trying to get we're just trying to get it done for the first year, and then see how we can add to it each year. And I can tell you that the designs for all of the costumes this year were all designed by somebody here in Cayman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we gonna share who?
Kenza Rose designed all of those.
All of them, nice. Way to go, Kenzie.
Kenzie designed all of them. Big up Kenzie for that.
She's had a busy year.
Right, she's a busy girl. She designed all of those. So they were all designed. Now, when you're gonna mass produce them, it's hard to mass produce them. So most people across the world will end up saying, okay, if I got to do 40 of one, I'm going to send it across to China, and China will mass produce that costume for you. But when you get to the feather backpacks now, you can't do that in China, because you do that and try to ship it here. By the time it get here, it's not good and
It's
stuff. So
crushed,
those
it's
things
done.
have to be done here on ground, right? So we have done that. We had a team of a bunch of people, various people. We also had some people that were in from Trinidad to help with the feather costume. So in truth and fact, our junior carnival is very, very, very Caymanian as is. Next year is going to even be better, because next year the plan is that those costumes will go into the school. Somebody will show them exactly how to do this and how to glue and how to put on the gems, how to bend the wires and all of that kind of stuff. That's what we're going to do in the school.
I like that, Brent.
Because the bottom line is that the kids, not only kids, but Caymanians have to understand that this carnival thing isn't just about going out on the road and jumping up and waving and have a good time. It isn't that. It's a whole industry across the world. The only country that is, well, maybe there's a couple of countries that just take it for the commercial value of it. But there's a whole industry. You can make a whole living off of this.
Real big business.
This is real big business. Good money to be made. I mean, I know designers out of Trinidad. I know designers out of Barbados that the only thing that they do is just design costumes and build costumes all year round. And they make great, great money. They make a good living. So why shouldn't we do that here?
So you're looking next year to hope to bring kind of almost like a crafting design kind of workshop for the kids in schools.
Absolutely.
I love that, because it's also showing kind of a creative side to look into for jobs, for careers, and more of an emerging industry as well in that sense. We know that this is building in Cayman, so this is a big thing. We got to go to a commercial break right now, but when we come back, we're going to talk more about that little business side. And as you said, it's a huge industry carnival, and I've got some figures to share, and let's get on that when we come back from the commercial break. All right.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Stay ahead with Total Health for all your healthcare needs. Their state-of-the-art facility offers specialist consultations, diabetes and weight loss, women and child, ophthalmology, ENT, dental, orthopedics, physiotherapy, on-site laboratory, imaging and pharmacy, all under one roof. Total Health also provides comprehensive health checks for women, children, men and senior citizens. Conveniently located in the Grand Pavilion on 7 Mile Beach Corridor. Experience a new era of preventive care in the Cayman Islands with Total Health. Because everyone deserves healthier living. Visit totalhealth.ky today and empower your well-being.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Our climate is changing, and so is Cayman. Stronger and more frequent hurricanes, longer periods of drought, sea level rise, and higher temperatures are already impacting our communities. If we take nature into account before we act, we can harness nature's benefits and reduce the devastation caused by natural disasters. Because when we put nature front and center, nature can provide the solutions.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I'm speaking with Brent McLean, Director for CayMAS. So CayMAS is Cayman's other carnival, and it's taking place, well, we're starting with Junior Carnival, the very first time that they're having Junior Carnival. It's going to be this Saturday, June, did you say 22nd? Is that the
22nd. yeah.
June 22nd. At Camana Bay, and the
Camana
time again for Junior Carnival?
4 o'clock in the afternoon.
All right, which is nice. Thank you for not having it too early.
Yeah, we'll speak about that we'll speak about that too also in the Senior Carnival, the changes that we made.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay,
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good to know.
So,
And then we've got the CayMAS festivities, which kick off on the 26th of June and go to July 1st as well. So let's draw back to Junior Carnival a little bit, because right before the break we were talking about how the part of the vision for Junior Carnival under CayMAS is to go into the schools and get the kids designing and learning how to build a costume. Basically.
Exactly, because like I said before the break, we have to at some point let people, kids, even adults that might even have some feeling that they might be able to design. We need to get them involved. We need to let them understand that there is an industry, that there's millions of dollars that can be made into that industry. So to do that, the best way is to start with the kids, get them excited from time they're in primary school, excited about not even so much about going on the road. Going on the road is one thing, but excited about the creation of Carnival. How do we get these designs to work the way? What are we using when they go down the road? I see the feathers and I see it looks beautiful, but how does that work? How does that work? I don't know if people might realize that we have done an event which CayMAS is trying to encompass a lot of things. We have done an event in the past when it was financially feasible for us that year to do an event called Art of the Jump. Art of the Jump we did, I think in 2018, I believe we did that. And the Art of the Jump was for people that could just come to that event to see how a costume was made. And what we had the designers sitting there and showing exactly how to glue something, how to bend a wire, because these are wire backpacks that you have, and each one have a different design depending on what the costume looks like. And even in that in itself is a whole industry across the world for a welder to weld the wire backpacks, and he's got to weld it in different directions and different angles depending on what the costume is supposed to be. There's people in Trinidad, there's people in the United States that the only thing that they do all year is just weld wires together. That's it. Just wire backpacks. That's all he does. Why can't we do that here? Right. Why can't we have a wire? They call them wire benders. Why can't we have a wire bender? Because all the costumes that you see going on the road, every costume that has a feather backpack on it has wire in it. There's a wire backpack that goes over your shoulder, ties with a string. It has foam in the shoulder so it doesn't rub you, and then all your feathers come out the back of that.
Not even just the backpacks, but the wire bras.
And the wire bras too. Exactly. And the wire bras are the same thing too. So why can't we have our own people here doing that? That's an industry in itself. They could make wire backpacks all year round,
Yeah.
wire bras all year round. It doesn't have to be just for CayMAS Carnival or for Badabanu. It doesn't have to be for them. It could be for across the world.
Right. And imagine kind of helping out our other Caribbean neighbors when they have their carnivals going on, or even
exactly. So
having a Cayman contingency there, that everything is built here and done here, and we might just show it off. That's a whole other tourism aspect.
That's
right
a whole
there.
other tourism aspect. So therefore, for us to do these things,
I love that.
We need to get the kids excited that there's an industry. So we have to go into the school.
How do we make that happen?
Well,
besides going into the school, I mean, that's the idea, but I guess what kind of support would you be needing for that?
Well, one of the things that we also talked about, and we thought that would have been great, but these things are all about dollars and cents, what money that you have to do that. But we would love to do what we call a design challenge, meaning that we get to a point where we get one corporation sponsor one individual to make a costume from scratch, from the thought process, from a drawing straight to putting it a whole costume out. And you have a costume where you have 6 or 7, 8 people that do that, and that's a competition within itself. Those people that design it would be local people. They would design that costume from scratch to top. They would get excited about that and go like, wow, I designed that.
And we have some of those designers already in Cayman,
we have some
right?
of the designers already.
Reba Dilbert, I think, being one. Danielle Watler.
Reba Dilbert.
Kenzie Rose, as you said.
Watler, Kenzie. But once again, it goes back to the fact that, and I'm going to speak directly to the corporate world right now. I'm speaking to the corporate world. If anybody's listening, we need to get past the thought process that Carnival is just about a bunch of people going down the road and skimpy bed in suits and walking up. We need to get past that, because the reality of it is, this is big business, but not only big business, but big business economically for any country. I mean, I know we segue across to other things.
No, you're doing a segue into some of those figures, financial figures that I'm going to say for other countries.
We want to talk about, and I know you got figures from other countries, but even right here in Cayman, let's think about it. CayMAS, we bring in about 300, 400, 500 people, it depending on the year, comes to our carnival, right? So they're flying from someplace just to come to experience the carnival. They have to take a flight to get here. They have to book hotels when they get here.
Correct.
They have to book transportation when they get here. They have to eat food when they get here. They have to go to all of the fetes and all of the different events when they're here. They have to buy costumes from a local mass band when they're here. So one individual will not be able to come to the Cayman Islands without spending $3,000 and all of that stuff, right?
They're likely also doing a couple different tours, whatever it might be,
exactly.
Stingray City,
and all that
the
stuff.
Crystal Caves. They're going to do something else, you know?
Right. So I mean, that goes back to. So therefore,
but we don't track that, Brent. We don't track it, and I know we don't track because I've had this discussion. So there's no tracking coming in from the Department of Tourism in a sense of people that are coming here for Carnival.
What are they coming for during
because
that period?
That economic impact would be amazing to study, because that's where a lot of your support could come from. Because I'm going to go into these figures, Brent.
Yeah, but this is the same thing.
So I want to talk about it.
Yeah, but this is the same thing. If somebody comes here and spends $3,000 and you $3,000 a person, let's say it's 1,000 people come in and 3,000, that's $3 million. Right. That's $3 million that you just brought into to the Cayman
over maybe a 5-day period.
Over the 5-day period.
So we know that there's an impact
when
there.
I'm talking to the corporate world, I'm saying to you, you could put your money into this, because I know you got figures here, but I'm going to throw you out another figure, right? We always bring in, and we bring him in every year. He's coming again this year. A guy called Trini Jungle Juice. You can look it up.
Absolutely.
And Trini Jungle Juice is here, and he's the god on marketing Cayman Carnival across the world, right? So when he's here, he's live streaming to the rest of the world.
Right.
So he's live streaming to the rest of the world. I can tell you without a doubt that in 2019, no, it might have been 21, when he was live streaming, there was 3-point-something million people watching his live stream from across the world in all demographics, from India, Australia, all over the place. That was just watching his live stream of the Cayman Islands on the road.
All eyes on Cayman.
All eyes
Over
on
3
Cayman.
million people.
3 million people at that time as well. So from a corporate standpoint, you need to start to be thinking, okay, you know something? Maybe this isn't just about some people wind up on the road. Maybe there might be some real benefits in putting some money behind this, because once again, that's what our struggle is. Our struggle is to get the finance and do it properly.
So
if
you
we
said,
had the money,
hold on, Brent. You said around maybe 3 million, right? That, guesstimating off of like 300 to 500, and I think you're going under the amount of people, right?
Yeah, sure.
So hold on, I'm going to say the economic impact in Trinidad and Tobago is conservatively estimated at US $94.2 million in visitor expenditure. 41,444 people arrived via plane and flight movement, increased from 309 people in 2023 to 459 in 2024. So that's just the flights that increased, went up to 459 this year.
Right.
There's that. Now in Jamaica, so on April 9th, there was an article in the Jamaica Observer, and they had preliminary reports estimating over $5 billion in revenue generated by Carnival, or just under $32 million US. That's a whole lot of money. And from what I know of, yes, people go to Jamaica for Carnival. That's not a reason I ever wanted to go to Jamaica, not for Carnival, but
yes.
Look how they have grown their Carnival product in Jamaica.
And what people don't realize, that the Carnival diaspora, the people that love Carnival, will travel to the ends of the earth for our Carnival. They will they will save up all year. They go and get loans in Trinidad. They go and get loans for our Carnival because they love it that much. So there is money in this thing called Carnival. We here in Cayman, we look at it and it's just a bunch of people going down the road. No, it isn't just that.
No,
we need to think about the economic impact that this could be for our country at this size.
And how we're going to start tracking that, because we keep talking about it, but we're not doing it.
But how are we going to try?
We gotta.
Not only
what
that.
do you think? What would your suggestions be on if we could track it?
Well,
I know Trinidad has like a thing on their visitor information. You can tick off, are you coming for Carnival? So
and we might end up having to do something like that in partnership with DOT to figure out what the numbers are. What the numbers change on a weekend, on a CayMAS weekend? Did your numbers change? Cayman Airways, we might be able to track it there. Did your numbers go up? It obviously it's not only just Cayman Airways. We got other airlines. Did their numbers go up? And if the numbers went up, was it of the result of people coming to the Cayman Islands? And I would have to say yes, because I know I have a mass ban. There's a lot of people that have mass bans, and I know this person is coming to Cayman for CayMAS, just for CayMAS. I know that. I know there's 4 or 5 people that are coming, and I know each band has numbers like that. So the bands themselves will give us numbers of people that are coming in. So that's why I could safely say to you that I know about 300-400 people are coming in each year. The numbers change depending on what's happening around the world, but I can safely tell you at very minimum each year, there's 300 people that comes to the Cayman Islands for one reason and one reason only on the July weekend. One reason and one reason only.
I think that's wonderful. And what other event is bringing in that amount of people? That's a big question. We got to go to a commercial break right now. When we come back, Soca Monarch is a really big thing I want to talk about. Your lineup for the weekend. We're only going to have maybe 10 minutes, so we got to get into that when we return from the commercial break.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are CayMAS Insurance Center,
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise
at
CayMAS Insurance Center.
Call today.
Elevate your child's math skills with 100% math with premier math tutoring services under the expert guidance of our renowned mathematicians, Professor Emeritus Romain Angeloff and Dr. Mackenzie. Programs are designed to secure IB, HL, and SL math, CSEC A-levels, and IGCSE success. Whether your child aims to get ahead or catch up, 100% Math is your partner in achieving their academic goals. Don't let your child's math skills lag. Visit us at 100%math.com or call or WhatsApp 547-9817.
The Passporting Corporate Services Office is advising travelers to check their passports to ensure all is in order ahead of summer holiday travels. Travelers should check their passport validity, verify entry requirements for the destination, and apply for or renew passports and visas early. For more information, call 345-649-7678 or email passportandcorporate@gov.ky.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm Kathy, and I'm sitting here with Brent McLean, director for CayMAS. We just had a juicy conversation going on about CayMAS, the economic impact of Carnival and Cayman. We need to get government a lot more involved, in my opinion, in tracking the numbers of people who are coming to Cayman specifically for Carnival, so businesses as well can understand the importance of it, the economic benefit in Cayman, the awareness, the involvement that your business can get, not just in Cayman, but worldwide. We said we had 3 million eyes on Cayman a couple years ago, just streaming CayMAS one year with Trini Jungle Juice.
Yeah.
There's so much to be discussed with Carnival being a business, and a great kind of week of events, not just a one-day event, but it's a whole kind of week of events. And one of the big events that I'm very excited about that CayMAS brought into the picture again is the Soca Monarch competition.
Absolutely.
Now, I know you've got a big singing background with you, Brent, so
well,
this has to be dear to you.
It's absolutely dear to me. Soca Monarch is on my shoulders, and the whole directors will tell you that is Brent's thing over there, so just leave him alone, all right? Because one of the things when we decided that we were going to do this carnival in 2016, 2017, because we didn't like the direction that things were going, and people wasn't seeing the economic benefits and stuff, which is exactly what we just said. Before I even go to that, I want people to take a look at our logo. Take a look at our logo and see what our logo says.
Okay.
Our logo says, experience the carnival, discover the islands. What does that say to you? That says this isn't just about carnival. This is about people coming and seeing who we are as a people and going to all the different attractions and all of that stuff. So I segued on that just to say that.
That's all right. A little
so
plug.
one of the things that I said to when we were putting this team together, and I says, listen, I am bored because I've been around it from the 80s. So I'm on board on the one condition that you guys allow us to do Soca Monarch. And I say that because think about every carnival. What would a carnival be without music? Without soca music? What would it be without soca music? It would be nothing, right? So therefore, music has to be created all the time. And we constantly, all the music that's being played is from Trinidad, Barbados, and Guyana, and Dominica, St. Vincent, and all that place. Great music, wonderful. But when do we invest into our own people? We got talent here on this island, so we need to invest in our own people. So therefore, this is why we're doing Soca Monarch. I told them plain straight, and they were like, okay, all right, you can do Soca Monarch. So from 2017, we put that in place, and we have had Soca Monarch every single year. What a lot of people might not know, the first couple of years of Soca Monarch, because I've been doing Soca all of my life, I was highly involved in all the different artists helping them with their writing styles and that kind of stuff, helping them in promoting their stuff. Because and my name isn't on any of that stuff because I didn't care. I just wanted to grow this thing called Soca Monarch. You know, this year we have 7 finalists. 7 finalists we have this year for Soca Monarch.
Out of how many entries did you get?
Close to 20, I think.
Okay,
and
nice.
we have 7 finalists this year.
Okay.
All 7 of those finalists wrote their own songs and produced their own songs. Let me tell you, we have arrived. I just want to tell people that we have arrived because I got to scream.
I love that.
We have arrived, and soca is dear to my heart. Anybody that knows me is dear to my heart, right? I went this week and I was just tracking because I know everybody that's in the soca industry. And I went this week and I was just tracking. Over the last 7 or 8 months, there is close to 30 brand new soca songs on this island that's been written by Caymanians. So if you don't know who they are, you need to go look out for Scotch Bonnet. You need to go look out for Vasco. You need to go look out for Madame La Rosa. You need to go look out for Erica Asai. You go look out for Jade Ashley. You go look out for Andy Blake. You go look out for Nyla Lee. I just call out 7 finalists. I just call out to you. 7 finalists. And I didn't have to look on a piece of paper to call them out. They're on the top of my brain because this is near and dear. This is Soca Monarch.
And they all better be sending their music to Radio Cayman. I know most of them are, but they all better be because there's nobody who plays as much local music as us.
I think you have them all. Yeah. I think I sent them all across anyway. But this is what I'm saying. And not only that they're in the Soca Monarch. If you go, all of those names that I just called you, if you go and look at their pages, go to Instagram, find them, go to Facebook and find them, you will see that these people are progressively, they understand this game, you know. You can find all of their music on all of the platforms: Apple, Amazon, Deezer, YouTube, all of that stuff. This is a promotion of Cayman, real Cayman talent. Once again, another industry, and these things have been brought about by CayMAS Soca Monarch. I am absolutely, without any conditions, I am absolutely proud of the Soca Monarch competition, and it's growing faster and faster every year. Vasco, which is one of the contestants.
My money's on Vasco, so Vasco, I'm already, you know.
But you can put your money on whatever. I am neutral.
My money's on you, Vasco, for this year's Soca Monarch.
I am neutral, but I say that Vasco just finished performing at Orlando Carnival.
He did,
you know? And over the years, Andrea performed in Barbados. She was on Uber Cruise, True Soca Monarch.
Yeah.
I've got contacts with Uber Soca Cruise. I've had Andrea on there. I've had Georgie Doherty on there to perform representing the Cayman Islands. So
there's exposure that comes not just out of Cayman, but throughout the diaspora as well.
Throughout the diaspora, I mean, we have now Scotch Bonnet. Scotch Bonnet, by the way, people, that's JG.
Yeah.
Right? That's a Scotch Bonnet. What people don't understand, he is producing for some of the best and the biggest soca artists across the world. He produced for Marshall, he produced for Cass, he produced for Ola Tunji, he produced for Vaughn, he produced for Nyla Blackman. Name it. He have produced for all of those. He have been on the road with Ola Tunji as his DJ VJ on the road and stuff. So Caymanians we're not just sitting here in a corner, people.
We only got a couple minutes, Brent. So I love it. I love that we're promoting them. But how can we go and listen to the final? Really?
Yeah.
When is it going to be?
Yeah, the Soca Monarch final is. We always put that on aftermath. So right after the carnival is finished. The carnival will finish which is next week. Next week Saturday, which is the 29th. Once the carnival is finished, around 6:30, 7 o'clock, the Soca Monarchs will go on stage right then.
Okay,
we do it that way so that they can get that mass crowd to support them.
Because I like to go right away.
Right. So
away to the aftermath.
So get your tickets for aftermath. Go to Eventpro and find your tickets for aftermath. Come in aftermath, and you'll see the Soca Monarch competition.
I got a question here.
Yeah.
Is there going to be that mess again like there was last year with 2 aftermasses, which just really turned me off?
No.
Oh, thank God, because that was a
no.
nightmare. Thank God that they're not doing that.
Well, no.
It wasn't you guys, I know, but it was a nightmare.
And in truth
people,
and
we
fact,
weren't happy as masqueraders.
I must say that I must say to everybody that I'm happy that there's things are playing, meaning that this year the Friday night concert, which is with voice, that is happening on the same stage that we're having the aftermath. Rather than they're using one stage,
one area.
Different entities are doing aftermath and doing the Friday night. 2 different entities, but they are working together to use the one stage so that when you go Friday night, you go to the same stage that you're going to be going to for Saturday night.
Wonderful.
Just different artists.
Okay.
I think you have Voice.
We got less than a minute, so Friday night. I think
you have Voice, Nyla Blackman,
Rupee. I think Rupee's coming.
Kervin Duval, that is for Friday night.
Nice.
Saturday night, you have DJ Puffy and Adam O. See, Adam O, once again, is another guy that a lot of people might not know from U.S. Virgin Island. He's incredible. In fact, I'm going to speak to the girls. You need to come out and see Adam O. I know him personally. I seen him. I talked to him. You need to come out and see Adam O. If you like Kes, if you all like Kes, come and see Adam.
And they do.
If you do like Kes, and I know you all do, come and see Adam O.
Okay, that sounds like a pretty good challenge. The girls are going to be there anyways. Huh? That's for sure. They're going to be there.
All you ladies
anyway.
come and see Adam O. Trust me on it.
How many bands do we have this year in CayMAS?
This year we have 9 bands, which is the regular. Let me see if I can name them off the top of my head. You're throwing these things at me now. Calabra, Chicken Run, Party Animals, Wristband, Tribal, Quinn, Palm Heights, Renegade, Dream Carnival.
Okay. And Swanky?
No, Swanky's not on the road.
Swanky's not on the road?
Well, Swanky is doing he's doing a section with Dream Carnival.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, within Dream Carnival.
Okay, understand.
So, yeah, I think I got them all.
Okay, awesome. Nice. Okay, I had to throw it out. Now, you did say something about, because we should be ending the show now, but you did say something about the timing change.
Right, yes. Timing change is last year one of the complaints that we got. People said it's hot on the road, and it was hot on the road. It was blistering. So what we have decided this year, and we're working with RCPI, is to start the carnival later in the afternoon. We can't go at 12 o'clock in the day.
No.
We can't do that.
That's the height of the heat in the sun.
We can't do that. So we're going at 2:30 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And by then the sun is down a bit.
Okay.
And
a little better. That's a little better for sure.
And because the sun in itself is going down later anyway, so we will still get the same time on the road.
Oh, yeah.
Meaning that by 7 o'clock the sun is still up.
Yeah.
So we still have from 2:30 all the way till 7. You're still going to get the 5 hours on the road that you would normally get on the road.
Right.
So that's where we're at right now. And we had to do that because when people complain, and we don't want anybody on the road just passing out because of the heat.
And that gives a lot of people that need to do their errands on a Saturday, get them done a little earlier in that sense, up to at least 2 o'clock. You're good. You're good on the roads. They won't be blocked off until West Bay Road at least won't be blocked off until then.
Exactly.
So that helps a lot of people in that sense. So.
Absolutely.
Everybody come check out CayMAS, which is next weekend. And
this weekend.
Junior Carnival
this weekend.
At Camana Bay this weekend starting at 4 p.m. Thank you, Brent, so much for joining. If people want to check out the lineup of events, the website they can go to?
CayMAS.ky.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us this morning on The Business Buzz.
Thank you, too.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by CayMAN Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
And 100% Math. Invest in your child's academic success. Visit 100%math.com or call 547-9817.
We are Radio CayMAN, covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million.